Okay, game 2 of the series. Sib off to a pretty impressive start, smashing Lewted without even, well, not even really a close game. Not a close game at all. 11-minute victory for the Axis, in fact, which should supposedly have the weaker early game, so I don't know why I said supposedly, which certainly do have the weaker early game. So the factions are switched. Game 2, Sib playing as Armor Company, already chosen right off the bat and fields a squad of Assault Engineers. Lewted playing as Oster, and he has fielded close air support, lightning war, and mobile defense. We're going to see these two squads making their way to take control. Strategic points and munitions. Sib is going to make a direct play for building control. You can see how important building control is to him. Goes straight for the factory right there. Hopefully Lewted is going to do the same this game, learn from some of his mistakes last game to make sure to prioritize these buildings. They're very important. He actually did take this building early on in game 1, but he lost control of it because he didn't dedicate enough forces to the area and got pushed completely off the map. Really just a matter of time once you lose control of all the buildings if you can't engage effectively, and one of the best tools to take building control is flamethrowers. He's not over Commando West this game, he's chosen Oster for game 2. So he does have access to flamethrowers. In fact, Oster might even be better than Over Commando West on Stalingrad because they have Panzer Grenadiers and flamethrowers, but I'm not really an Axis player, so I hesitate to make a judgment call like that. Pyos engaging here on the strategic point. Rear echelons need to think carefully about how they want to engage. They're going to set up here in yellow cover. Piles don't seem to be closing the distance. Assault Engineers closing in on Grenadiers managed to force one squad to retreat. This Grenadier squad's getting in a little close, wanting to flank them, and will force a retreat there. They take actually a pretty healthy amount of damage. I would say that's a pretty good first engagement for Assault Engineers. 3 model losses inflicted, a little bit of light damage. Didn't quite get Vet 1, but they're off to a pretty good start. Once they hit the field for the second time, they'll probably be able to hit Vet 1. Got pretty good value out of that investment, forcing one retreat of his own and setting that squad up to be a little bit wounded for their first engagement against his own riflemen. One squad of riflemen heading to the north area, the other one going straight for the fuel for now. And the rear echelons are going to pull away from those Pyos. Best thing they can probably do right now is secure building control, so that's what they're going to do. Hop inside this factory. It's going to be difficult to unseat them. They can actually engage cost effectively against sometimes even Grenadiers at the right range if they have building control or a little veterancy.
Rifle squad ready for action.
This wire right here will deny cover to these Grenadiers as they attempt to capture the munitions here. So they will get it captured, but they take a bit of damage there, and they'll be forced to reposition. Flamethrower upgraded on the sea. Very first munitions purchase from Sib is a flamethrower because of how useful it is on this map. Upgrades that on those Assault Engineers immediately and begins bursting down those Grenadiers from this nice safe position here in green cover. Now he's flanking around here to close the gap safely, although he's actually going to encounter another squad of Grenadiers here on the victory point. Gets another, wow, 2 consecutive flame bursts without receiving any damage in return. He's already gotten massive value out of this Assault Engineer squad. His opponent is not managing this threat very well and wasn't paying attention to this Grenadier squad, which gets wiped by riflemen in the building. And again, Lewted Ho's off to a terrible start. He's already lost 1 full squad. He's bleeding a ton of manpower in model losses. In fact, it is already 12-4. Only 4 model losses inflicted on Assault Engineers primarily. Assault Engineers, and I guess maybe 1 loss on Rifle or something. Not sure what the 4th loss was, honestly. But 12 model losses for Lewted, including a full squad of Grenadiers. Only 4.5 minutes into the game is just monstrous manpower bleed, which you can't afford as Oster versus US forces when you're already at a manpower disadvantage just because of the matchup.
The fresh mortar crew has arrived.
You have to utilize the tools Oster has to equalize your manpower disadvantage as early as you can. With the sniper, with suppression, or just superior numbers, usage of cover, better infantry tactics. That flamethrower just Died. Just walked straight up to assault engineers and died. Grenadiers don't have a whole lot more success. There's 14 kills on this assault engineer squad now. If we take a look at Sib's tech decisions, he has gone lieutenant and is fielding himself an M20. M20 will probably be able to just dive right into Looted's base and finish him, since he has no munitions with which to Faust it and push it out of his base, really. With only 11 coming in and losing full control of the map. I'm sorry, Bluey. Thank you so much for your kind donation. I really appreciate it. I know it lags for some people. I wish there were anything I could do about that. Yes, we will keep our fingers crossed for partnership. That's very nice of you.
Alright, you dopes, listen up.
Riflemen moving to take control of the strategic points immediately outside of Looted's base, and once they do so, he won't have very much of any munitions coming in, which will shut down any hope of Teller mines, any hope of even just Panzerfaust, anything. He'll probably get finished off just by light vehicles. If Sib decides to produce a second light vehicle, like an AA half-track, there's not really much Lewted would be likely to do to defend himself against it. Otherwise, Sib can just try and hold his containment for a little while until he has tanks, and try and finish him off that way. M20 is just going to kite for now, trying to bleed these grenadiers at a distance. And he is taking a little bit of damage from small arms fire. Mortar lands a direct hit right there on the M20 as well, so that's going to have to pull back to safety for now. The riflemen will just maintain their containment here, immediately outside the base, keeping them grouped rather than spread. Tier 2 structure is going up. 7-minute tier 2 without any territory left, though. He's lost so much, too much, to likely be able to come back from. Sib throwing down some defenses here. Barbed wire going up to block certain approaches. Demo charge in this particular avenue of approach. Grenadier squad's about to walk into a blob. Immediately has to retreat. These two will probably get rounded up just as easily. Sib just maintaining his hold on the map. And a rifle grenade just got fired by Lewted, which exhausted almost all of his remaining munitions. That is extremely expensive to do. He can do that once every 5 minutes at his current munitions income, which means no Panzerfaust are currently available to Sib. Sib probably doesn't really know for sure whether or not his opponent can Faust him. Currently not. In a few seconds he will be able to. So he's going to continue to kite, maintain his distance, play it safe. And it looks like he is going to go straight for tanks rather than continue to spam light vehicles into the Osterra base. With this much fuel income, there's honestly not that much reason not to. The second light vehicle could get here much quickly, but he's obviously having no problem maintaining a containment with just this M20. OMG Pop had an even more aggressive style where he would just throw the M20 straight into the base and eat up a bunch of Panzerfaust with it, and then send the AA half-track straight into the base. And they would just not have any munitions left to do anything about it, and they would just lose. So OMG Pop had a slightly more aggressive style here in this situation, as U.S. forces. Sib is playing a little bit more conservatively, a little bit more unit preservation, which it does mean that his opponent actually has these little opportunities to break his containment, get out, harass territory where there are no screening squads. But at the same time, he's not lost anything. So clearly it's a trade-off. Lewted is finally going to make his way over here to the right side, get a little bit of territory under control. Riflemen moving immediately for the cutoff, however. The rear echelons will provide vision of this force. Pio's working the fuel, Grenadiers working the VP. Riflemen hold the cutoff though, so no fuel will be coming in for Lewted, and while he will slow down the victory point drain, it makes essentially no difference. 10 minutes into the game with 0 map control is pretty much GG, no matter what the matchup, no matter what. There's just not any coming back from that. These 3 squads move to engage that Pio squad right there, and a 2-2-1 is on the field. She wants to try and utilize to give himself a little bit of relief from the constant pressure of the M20. But if your 221 is hitting the field at the same time that your opponent's Sherman is getting queued up, you're probably doing something wrong. Sherman is about a quarter done. Once that hits the field, should easily be able to finish this game. All territory here in the south falling back into Sib's hands very soon. 3 squads of riflemen moving to engage 2 squads of wounded grenadiers. They're actually going to try and hunt down the 222 though, trying to cut off its escape routes. It is kiting them pretty effectively. Riflemen give up the chase a little bit to focus on these grenadiers instead. 1 squad of riflemen will retreat. These grenadiers also going to retreat. Bazooka from the M20 is on its way to engage the 221. Anti-tank rifle grenade not going to be deployed.
Support is here. Sherman ready.
But Lewted doesn't seem like he even has the munitions to get a 222 upgrade on this thing, so its contribution is somewhat limited regardless. All it can do is harass infantry. Flamethrower nails a squad on retreat. There's another squad here in the base, dangerously low. Small arms fire bringing the M20 down pretty quickly though. It's probably going to want to get out of here soon. Panzer Grenadiers on its rear armor. Pretty impressive damage. Bazooka walks into the base bunkers and does get pinned. Sherman is on the field, throws on armor-piercing rounds. He might want to try and focus on the bunkers. He's got the 50 cal upgrade on there. Again, his opponent has no anti-tank of any kind. Oh, except for this anti-tank gun. Switches to high explosive rounds just in time. First shot nails those Panzer Grenadiers. AT gun was not set up in time for the Sherman to get around and start circle strafing it to death. But the Sherman's actually going to move back around the headquarters and focus on the scout car, I think. And another Sherman will be available to Sib quite soon. 42 fuel coming in, then he can just do this for the entire rest of the game. Keep the pressure up in Lewted's base, and make sure that he never even has a chance to come back into this game. It just goes to show, as Oster, it's extremely important to maintain a little map control. If you can't maintain a fuel point of your own, it goes both ways, because not only do you not have any fuel coming in, your opponent has a ton of fuel coming in, and you're forced to split your manpower between anti-tank and anti-infantry instead of being able to properly invest in an anti-infantry force. And no matter what, you're going to be weak in some way. If you can't maintain map control and delay your opponent's armor at least a little bit.
Our HQ is under attack.
And rather than attempting to circle strafe, I think Sib just blew up a bunch of his own troops. Was that his own troops, or was that an enemy squad? I don't even know what that was. I guess that was like a squad of grenadiers or something down there. I didn't even see it. Either way, it doesn't matter. Lewted is about to have no units left at all. Once that anti-tank gun gets cleared by something. There's no longer a base bunker defending right there. Infantry could just walk into the base if it wants to, and it looks like it will. M10 taking out the other base bunker right here to clear their advance. And Lewted has chosen mobile defense and fielded some most trooping, but I mean it makes no difference. It makes no difference at all what he does at this point. Everything's dead. Every single unit wiped. Just a matter of time before the annihilation victory, and Lewted will surrender. Good game. Sib wins.